Hey everybody, Gavin here from Silo.us. Today we have an amazing guest. His name is Isaac. He is otherwise known as AJR Music. He's also from Loyola Collective, and we're super excited to have him here and with us. Thank you everybody that's joining in on now, that also is watching back here on live. We're super excited. Thank you all for joining and coming with us. We're going to wait a little bit here, see if we can get him on here, and we'll get things rocking and rolling. And I think I'll just see him, IRG Music. Let's see if I can full send this request. There we go. Let's see if I can get him in here. Hey, there he is.
Hey, what's up, man?
Good, man. How are you?
Oh man, I can't complain. It's good. Just so busy. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, we'll dive more into it, but man, you have been on the grind, the creative grind, to say the least.
Oh man, I've been trying. A lot of it has just been I guess pulling from my inventory of stuff that I've been like stacking up over the past couple months, or not past couple, probably the past half year, because in anticipation for my wedding. You know,
Yeah.
I knew that I wasn't going to be able to be that creative during that time because my mind was going to be elsewhere. So, I guess a lot of the stuff that you guys are hearing now about me putting out like on streaming platforms is just stuff that's been done for a while. But I've been like holding on to it just because I knew that during this time I wanted to release stuff, but not like actually work on it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. And
Yeah.
that's a huge testimony already to your creative mind, just with pre-planning, strategy-wise, and working forward to the future. But yeah,
Absolutely.
all right, so let's start this off. So for those that are all joining on, we are being blessed with the amazing man himself, IRG Music. He's also one of the creatives involved with Loyola Collective. We're super excited to have him on here. This man has recently got married and is still grinding out music.
I'm trying.
So yeah,
man.
We're so proud and we're so excited to have him on here. To talk to him and pick his brain. For Isaac, I think you've hopped on a couple times before to hear some of the interviews. But what we call this is kind of like two somewhat intelligent dudes talking about stuff that might interest you.
Gotcha.
Today, that's kind of our niche.
Right.
But yeah, so welcome. I'm thankful to have you on here. Yeah, absolutely. So what we do is we typically open up with some sort of icebreaker question.
Gotcha.
So this one is kind of pulling from our story that we were posting out earlier today. So you as a person, maybe what would you describe yourself? Like, if you could be any place, like if someone would be like, Isaac is this place, what would you be?
Oh man. People would destroy me in the comments if I said one thing. Let me think. Oh man.
I mean, it could be as simple as like I would be a forest. I mean, or it could be like something as like.
That's a tough question. That's a tough question because I've been a lot of places. You know, I've been to Europe. I've been to South America. And I don't know. For me, I think, man, because I love the cold. You know, I love the cold.
Oh snap!
Yeah. So I like being in like what's weird. I like when it's cold outside and then I'm inside my house. So but then if I say Alaska or something or Antarctica, people are gonna be like, "Oh man, he's just cold-hearted." Yeah. No, I would just say I don't know. I think I'm like Vermont because
okay. It's like not too cold, but like it can be cold. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like how remote it is. There's like not much around, and I'm okay with that. You know.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And that's funny. And the reason I said that is just because like that's where my honeymoon was. So yeah, and it was amazing.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So talking about your honeymoon, you've recently gotten married.
Yeah, on the 20th of March. Yep.
That's awesome. That is so
Thanks,
cool.
man. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty
it's hard to believe. It's really hard to believe, but it's because there was just so much that happened beforehand regarding like premarital counseling for like a whole 9 months before that, which is I recommend anyone who's married to do that. Or yeah, I guess if you're married, you can still do that. You can do marital counseling, and then if you're engaged, get premarital counseling. But it was just everything before that was like such good, like open communication, just to not like because anything there's has such a bad connotation with it.
Yeah.
But it's just so good just to kind of talk out stuff with accountability with
Mm,
people there, people who have been married for such and such years,
yeah.
who are doing it correctly. Um, it's just, I don't know, for me, I see the benefit in it, and I just see how much growth and how much closer I am to her now. So,
Mm,
um,
amen. Amen.
yeah, man. So it's good, man, and especially from like coming from a Christian perspective,
Mm,
and like looking at scripture and diving into that, it's like really really helpful for sure.
amen. Amen to that. And
Yeah,
now, would you say, since that's like fairly new and super exciting, would you say
yeah,
that we talked about briefly in the beginning, but you think that like affected you? Because that's a pretty monumental like
yeah,
moment in your life
yeah,
that would
absolutely.
affect you creatively, like overall. Do you think you've been like your mood has kind of switched, or like how has that kind of affected you?
I think creatively, it definitely affected me. It is gonna and it will continue to affect me a lot. Not in a negative way though. I mean, depending on how you look at it,
Yeah.
some people might see it as a negative thing. Like for me now, I don't think that I would almost. It would be not that I can't, but it'd be very, very difficult for me to write sad boy anthems.
Yeah.
Just because, or like heartbreak. I guess you
Yeah.
could. There's some heartbreak in life, but regarding my relationship or like
Mm,
relationship type heartbreak, it's very, very difficult to
mm,
write anything close to that.
yeah.
Um, and a lot of it is like, I write love songs. It's just me, and I don't mind, being labeled as a love song writer because you can go there's like 1,000 different ways you can express that, you know. Um, so basically, that's kind of where I feel like it's affected me with, I guess, songwriting that is the biggest thing.
Mm,
But it also affected me in such a good way too, because now I can like, there's so many different experiences now that like obviously walking down the street with my fiance
mm,
is different than walking down the street with my wife. You
yeah.
know what I mean? Because it's just different. We're like going through life together as one. And then before, it was like a weird, awkward stage of our life where we were not one, but we were
Yeah.
planning to be one. So it was like, it's different things. Like if I was to talk about that or write about it, I just have a totally different mindset. It's like
Mm,
going totally different ways. But
mm. It's good insight, and I think it's a testimony to the different seasons that as creatives that we are in, and how
yeah,
that affects what we do. And
right.
it's just crazy. It's crazy. Now
Yeah,
you talked about how like sad boy anthems and things like that.
yeah.
For those that don't know, could you possibly like give us like a brief blip of what IRG music is, and like what's the goal, what's the mentality when you're making music?
My thing is my goal, so my personal selfish goal is for me to be able to have an outlet that I
Mm,
can just like, whether it's work that's bothering me or just stuff with friendships or anything or whatever, I can come to the studio and I can just unwind. You know what I
mm,
mean? I can totally just de-stress. It's my thing. It used to be soccer for me, but
yeah.
now I'm out of college. I'm washed up, gained some weight. So, and yeah, I can still go play, but like, um, I'm never ever going to be in that college deep Division 3 soccer
Mm,
um, shape that I was in before. So now, um, it's different.
yeah.
I need something that will sustain me for years to come. That I don't have to put my body through wear and tear. I can just sit down and and I have a hobby. I have something to go to.
Yeah.
And that's what music is for me. So IRG is my alter ego to say,
Gotcha.
just so I can basically decompress. But the goal for everyone else is um, the things I talk about are real things. You know,
Mm,
it's not like a fairy tale. It's my life. You know, it's
mm,
things that have happened to me or are happening to me, or I anticipate will happen
mm,
in my life. And I'm I'd like to say I'm unique,
mm,
but also a lot of the things that I do go through are similar to other people, you
mm,
know, and what they go through. So I would like to think that what I would say in those songs could potentially be like, oh, like for someone else, I went through something similar.
mm,
You know, this is, I mean, that's how he went about it. Maybe I could go about it in a different way,
mm.
you know? So,
Yeah.
or because I'm not saying I'm perfect and everything I put in my songs is not, maybe that's not the way you should do it. I don't know, but that's just how I did it.
Yeah.
But, you know, and it's like, that was what happened and this is my consequence, cause and effect. And hopefully it will, I can shed some light and kind of be an example for people, whether it's a bad example and you guys can learn from it or a good example and you guys can mimic that. So
Yeah. And I think it's been a huge testimony to um, your music and your just persona in itself of like the reality and the realism that you put into your music and
yeah.
how the relatability factor is so like key. And I
Hmm.
think that's why we've seen such like I've been able as an outsider been able to see such a rise in your career already just because
Right.
people are like, dude, I relate to
Yeah.
that dude. Like it
Right.
might just be like something simple as oh some notes in the background or a lyric in the song, but it's
Hmm.
relatable and it's unique, but then it's also just real. And I think a lot
Right.
of times um, musicians can have a difficulty facing that reality of how much they can put real into their music and how much they shouldn't. And I think
Right.
you found that balance, and it probably is tricky at times of like
Yeah.
of what to do and what not to do.
Right.
But man, like it's been really cool to see the like how far your career has gone. I mean, you're already like verified on Instagram and
Yeah.
you're cruising like and
Yeah.
like
It's,
a
it's,
collective like
yeah. Yeah. Loa has been, that's been amazing for me because that, like, me and my buddy Christian founded it and it's just a group of believers, you know,
mm,
like we're Christians who make secular music, you know, and
mm,
it's just and all we do is like we'll be in a group chat and we'll be reaching out to each other and be like, yo, like, hey, so and so how's this going on? Can you pray for him? You know what I mean? Stuff like
mm,
that. But then we'll also like send our music in and we'll be like, hey, like, what do you guys think of this? What do you think I should add? Like, what do you think I should take away? Different things, and it's so helpful, like, you know, just to have like a team around you, you
yeah,
know? And yeah, it's just I can't wait to see where that goes. And then regarding the verification, it's just it's cool and it helps out with, you know, I guess looking more credible and stuff, but
mm,
um and it opens up some doors and some opportunities for sure. But you know, at the end of the day, it is about the music
mm,
and that all that is I just hope it all I guess it just I hope it just brings more people to the page just to be like,
yeah,
oh, like if that's what you're looking for in an artist is a blue check mark, then fine. And then
yeah.
hopefully more people will go to be able to see the sound. So
Yeah, and now that brings up another point is as I feel like there's almost as anybody that's putting creative um, artists and musicians, anything like that, they're putting that stuff out there. There's
yep.
always that thing in the back of mind is like, oh, I need to get this, I need to do this in order to get
Right.
this level. Um, and you're saying that it's so much about the music, and I think that brings up a good point. Like as we create, it should solely be about our passion and compassion to create. Um, and I think that brings, as you were referencing to Lola Collective, I think that's also another thing. It's like it's such an importance to keep a group of people together to make sure that we're all being held accountable, but also just building each other up.
Absolutely.
Um, Now, would you say like because of the having the collective in your forefront, it's almost elevated your music career or almost elevated you personally?
Definitely personally for me. I'm always that type of person where or I try to be that person where I reach out every once in a while to, like, I'll go down my phone contacts list and I'll be like, yo, I'm gonna reach out to 10 people today and
Mm,
just be like, how are you doing? You know what I mean? And with this and like keeping accountable of the four people that are in it, including myself, it's just it's like taught me leadership, it's taught me time management, it's taught me accountability, it's taught me so many different things just to, and just following up and checking in and genuinely caring about people. You know what I
mm,
mean? There's a lot of people that they reach out or they text you because they want something. You know what I
mm,
mean? And I'm not perfect. I'm guilty of that. I've done that in
yeah.
the past. But like that only helps you in the short term, and it
Mm,
doesn't build a relationship in the long term. So, just being able to reach out to people and like genuinely just care, and like you don't even have to
mm,
ask for anything, just ask how they're doing, and
yeah.
that's kind of like what I've been trying to like instill in my life, and just like it's
Mm,
people first.
mm,
So that's kind of what I think Loa has kind of taught me, is that
mm,
that big thing, if I could put it in 2 words, is people first. That's
mm.
just pretty much it.
That's awesome, man. And I think that's very key. I mean, that's something that Silo's been trying to embrace as well. It's just like we are just a creative community in general, and like that,
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
it
yeah.
should be just constant encouragement and support because we're all just artists in
Right,
the
right,
world. I mean, like,
right.
who knows what's gonna happen tomorrow and in the next hour? I
Yep.
mean, it's just
Yeah.
having that support and that system.
And
Um,
one thing I really struggled with too, like, which is, and it's one of the things that like, there's a couple things that since I've started since 2017 and up till now, that's like kind
mm,
of haunted me as like, man, I really wish I could have done that differently. Is like when my friends put out stuff, or people that
mm,
I know puts out stuff, it's like, what does it hurt to put it on your story and tag them?
yeah,
You know what I mean? That's like my thing. And like I for the longest time didn't do that. Like I would put it on my story, but I wouldn't tag them. Or I like struggled in that first year of like, oh, like they're gonna take away from my attention because of, like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Which is, there's a piece of the pie for everyone, and
yeah,
that's the music industry, and the music business is so big that people are like this starvation mentality where they need, and there's room for everyone to succeed, and
mm,
it actually works better if you work together and you help each other out. But
exactly.
and that was something that like I really struggle with, and now finally gotten over that hump, because and I don't believe in like you I don't believe in like you give to the world and the world gives back, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? You put it in the universe and it comes. I don't know about that, but I do know that, like, there's nothing wrong with helping people out. There's
mm,
nothing wrong with helping, and and wanting other people to succeed. And like that's another thing I've kind of said to every single person in my collective, is like, look, I have goals and I have dreams and I have, things that I want to do with my music career, but like I want all that plus times 10 for you guys.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like if I want to be, you know, whoever, like Jeremy Zucker or something like that, I want you guys to be like Justin Bieber stardom or Drake stardom.
yeah,
Like I want that for you guys. I want you guys to be way bigger than what I could be. And that's why they're a part of my collective, because I believe in
mm,
them and their sound and their music,
mm,
So yeah, that's pretty much what I gotta say about that. But
yeah. That's amazing, man. And I think again, it's just another good point of how even what Praiseworthy Publishing has said is that
yeah,
competition kills
yeah,
creativity, and it's surrounding yourself with people. And a lot of times, even like as we put, like, if it's putting an artist and tagging them on the story, or if it's sharing their work in our own post, a lot of times it just festers even more community and brings more
right.
people together. um, and that's an awesome testimony to you as an individual, being like, hey, I might not I might get to this certain level of creativity, but I want you to
Hmm.
get here. And I think that's
Right.
it's amazing, that's huge. Now,
Absolutely.
and I think another good point is, like, as a creative yourself, it's always like that story, like you said, starvation. It's like, I need to do this, I need to
Yeah,
do this, I need to
yeah,
do this. Um, But as long as we just take a step back and watch it progress on itself, I think a lot of
Mhm.
times we'll be blown away by what happens. And I think
Yep,
that's a really good point.
absolutely.
Yeah, so that's kind of a great segue point. So we've talked about collective, we talked about you as an individual, um, but as a creative, as a musician, to anybody watching this, what would be what would be your advice, like as into kind of what you do to create, like how you create?
Mm,
What's the mentality? Like, I know we've had people in the past that have said like I just lock myself in a room and
yeah,
I'll
yeah.
just listen to music and see what comes. I've had others that say like I just drive for hours upon hours and to see if something comes up. What would you say as a creative is your creative mentality, like your journey of how you
Mhm.
create a song or
Right.
and stuff out there?
I think for me, my biggest thing is so I before anything else, I consider myself a songwriter. That's like
Mm,
my like if anyone was to ask me anything, it's like songwriter first.
mm,
And the way I go about that is, every day, whether it's just like on your notes on your phone or you're in your studio, you're writing something down or
mm,
whatever you're doing, like, or if it's just humming or doing a voice memo or whatever, like just do it consistently every day for
mm,
like, even if it's just 10 minutes, just do it. Because like for me personally, doing that, like my melodies have gotten better, my like understanding of music has gotten better, like the way I can just kind of rhyme words and flow and transition has just it's like a muscle, you just got to
yeah,
work it every day for it to get stronger. So, and that's the same that applies to everything with music, in my opinion, is like it's all a muscle. Like
mm,
your voice singing is a muscle, your muscle memory of your fingers when you play instruments, the like songwriting and just with your brain and how quick you can kind of come up with stuff. It just gets better if you're consistent with it. And so I personally, for me, I guess what helps me, I trying to think, I just listen to playlists all the time
mm,
of different types of music, and I just study it. I
mm,
listen to it and I listen to it again and I listen to
mm,
it again and I see the structure, and like what helps me is like going on Genius Lyrics and seeing their structure and being like, okay, like wow, like that's funny that he started with a pre-chorus. That's funny that he
mm,
started there, or he started there and he did a bridge and then he did a chorus. It's a, it's interesting. Like be open to new types of
mm.
new types of. I'm sorry, I just got a text from the TV of my collective saying it's a muscle. It's a muscle. Sorry. No, it opens yourself up to just different ways of doing things that you never would have thought before.
Mm.
So for me personally, it's just so hard to give advice because the way I do things is so different and unique. Um, yeah, I guess would just say the biggest thing is consistency.
Mm,
Consistency over and over and over again, every day, and even if it's for a couple minutes,
mm.
just doing it. And even when
Yeah,
you don't want to do it, just do it.
yeah, and that's good. And I think we each have our own unique ways of creating and unique ways of doing things. And I think it's finding your niche. I think a lot of times we touched on before is like people have a hard time. They're like comparing themselves. Like this person
Yeah,
creates this way, so I want to follow what they do and hope that it
right,
works for me.
right.
Um, and I think that's a very important point. Is just like not everything that we do is going to be similar or going to provide the same
Hmm.
um, product or things that we do. And I think um, as a creative yourself, like what would you suggest for people um, who are trying to find their ground, trying to find if they're a musician, trying to find their sound or trying to find what that would look like? What might be some advice that you could give people?
The biggest thing I would say, and I say this to a lot of my buddies who need to put out music, it's like, look, put out something.
Mm.
Don't wait until it's perfect. Put
Yeah.
out something, because that is the worst you're going to be. That song is the worst. And then the next one, all you got to do is strive to be better than the last one.
Mm.
And the next one, better than the last one. And that's how it is. I've released a total of like 40 songs since 2017. that have gone up on Spotify. Now I have about 28 left up there. I took down some, but the ones that I first put out were terrible. But every single one that I put out has gotten better in some
Mm,
way, shape, or form, whether it was the way I sang, or whether it was the mixing, or whether it was the instrumentation or the lyrics, or whatever. Some aspect of it got better,
mm,
you know, and now that's where it's like consistent, it's consistent. And that's like when you see people like, and I'm not hating on anyone here, but you see people that are like 16, 17 years old, 18 years old, like Kid Leroy or any people like that, like, and you're like, whoa, this guy popped out of nowhere and has this dope sounding song, and he's like so young. But the thing is like these people have been like doing stuff for like
mm,
9, 10 plus years, and then they get found by a label, and then they get their whole history before they were found by a label erased online because they have people that can do that.
mm,
And then that person will be like presented as a whole new product when he's been around for like 10 plus years,
mm.
so I mean, and that's a whole different conversation. I don't want to get into that, but but I'm just saying it's like don't be ashamed that like you're doing something and grinding at it and growing and getting better, and it's taking you a lot longer than what you thought it would be, but that's fine. Like that's, you got to
Mm.
love the process. Like don't be compare yourself to someone who's like 16-year-old and like world touring, you know what I mean? Don't
Yeah,
do
yeah.
that. So um that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Mm. And that's again another really good point. Is it's just like sometimes we don't know the full story. We don't know how long they've been at it. Like
Yeah.
some people, and like the music industry as a whole, a lot of it sometimes it is just play of the deck. Like sometimes it
Yeah.
could be like this person just comes out with one song and everybody loves it because they just did this thing, one thing correctly, or
Yep.
this one person heard it at the right time.
Hmm.
But then there's others who just continue to grind, 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 and then they finally get there after years of putting their music out there. And so it's just like you said, it should be rather than comparing, it should be like, okay, this is how they did it. How
Hmm.
can I take that and do it better in my own
Absolutely.
music, in my own style? And so and it's an amazing point. And I hope many that are watching now and that listen back under like if anything follow that point because it's huge. I think with any creative in general, it shouldn't be about okay this person did this way better than I did. It should be like okay how can I take that into my own life but turn it so that it's my own. That's important. Um,
Hmm.
it's awesome. That's really awesome.
Yeah,
Okay,
man.
so we're getting to the point where we're about halfway into the show, and we kind of leave it up to anybody in the audience if they have any questions, they can feel free to ask you as well as myself.
Hmm.
Anything regards to IRG, for Loyola Collective, or just each other as a general. So
Hmm.
as we keep on talking, I encourage anybody that's watching, feel free to ask any questions. We'll try to throw in some answers as we can, but we'll keep on going with this.
You got it.
Um, so okay, so Isaac, I've heard some awesome things from Josh.
Oh
we,
yeah.
we, we've
Okay.
talked we've talked quite a lot about your creative, your just creative grind, but also just as a human being. Um, Now, what is there in the future for you? Like, what is your plan as
Mhm.
you continue to grow and continue to progress?
Yeah, I mean, right now it's just continue to just kind of use this as an outlet, and
Mm,
just have fun with it and just grow it. And, you know, whether it's growing my online presence on different social platforms or different streaming, like it's not about the numbers, but it's, you can't
mm,
lie. It's fun seeing it go up. It's not fun. Um, and so I just want to just see how far I can take it, how far I can grow. And I don't really see anything in my future like world tour or anything like that, or
mm.
anything, because I don't really want to do that
Yeah.
personally. Um, but what I really do want to do is, I want to grow in certain parts of the music industry, whether it's sync licensing or
Mm,
whether it's um, songwriting or doing sessions or just
Mm,
networking with people. I just wanted to be involved in it because I just like it in general. Um, and I think, you know, honestly, this industry needs a lot more Christians in it anyway, you
mm,
know? Um, so I think that's where I see myself from my personal career, or my
mm,
personal IRG career. But for regarding the collective, I see that just popping off and just having like a lot more people in it, like up to like 10, 15 members in the next couple of years. I just see down the road, like 5, 10 year plan, having like a Loa house, um, where it's just, you know, literally like a couple studios in there, kitchen, couple bedrooms that people can just sleep in and just lock themselves in there for like a week and just make something crazy, you know, and just, but like the people that can go there are just like people who are part of Loa. They bring their clients there, they can make some money there, different things like that. And that's stuff
mm.
that I would love to like kind of create, just like a creative house for people like that. I'm trying to think. Other than that, like we want to like just get merch out. We want to,
Mm.
you know, a bunch of different things we want to do. But that's all I can think of in at right now. But obviously, you got to talk more with me and Christian and and figure things out. But
Yeah.
you know, we're just taking it day by day, and we're not trying to think too far ahead. But we do have like certain milestones we want to hit. And but honestly, I would love to get into A&R
Mm.
and managing artists, and I would love to just have people that I can just kind of once I build up a bunch of networking connections and just get people through the doors of places,
Mm.
I would love to just have people that I can just who want to pursue those dreams and I can just be on the back burner and like watch them shine. You know, that's what I
That's
want to do.
awesome.
So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Dude, that's awesome. That's super
Yeah.
exciting, and it's really cool to hear, um, because that the goal of just setting people up for an opportunity, for the ability to shine, to grow, and to move forward with that.
Yeah.
And I hope that silo can be some of that resource that you can draw for some of our photographers and some of our people and get that connections for you, because
Hmm.
we hope that you not only you personally, but your collective can just go
Yep.
out and do amazing things, because it's been a testimony to not even just like the past 30-40 minutes here, but you have a heart for others and just a
Hmm.
heart to create. And I think that's important. It's very, very important as a
Yeah.
creative.
Absolutely.
Um, and so I guess some of my final questions here, would be for anybody out there that's just like, okay, how can I get involved, or how can I do this, or how can I support? Like, what would you tell those people?
Honestly, I think just not even I would say share my music, but it's not even about that. Honestly, it's
Yeah.
just I just send people my way to have conversations, you know, about
Mm,
anything. Um, you know, because the biggest thing is like I said, I'm not Chris Tomlin, I'm not Michael W. Smith, I'm not anyone like that. But you know, I am a believer, and I do want to have
mm,
conversations with people, and I want to just and if my music can segue that and allow people to just find me and then just message me and be like, hey man, I just heard this and like I just want to know you as a person, then I'm totally for that. And if
mm,
it's just like, and if it's just a situation where they're just a fan and they just like the music, then that's fine too,
mm.
you know. Um, but yeah, like I said, I think the biggest thing that they could do to help me right now is to make me feel like I'm doing the most and impacting people the most would just
Mm,
be sending people my way to have conversations. That's the biggest thing.
mm,
So
mm. Absolutely, man. That's huge. That's huge. Now, we've talked about it here, and I think this is my like second to last question.
yeah, no worries.
But as a creative, how has the Lord impacted you?
Oh man, in
It's a heavy
so many,
question.
it is a heavy question. Because honestly, like it's impacted me in a way to kind of like check my pride. Because
Mm,
back like growing up, like 18, 19 years old, I was a very, very prideful person.
mm,
And I thought like very, very highly of myself. But like, and I feel like then compared to now, I was so much more flawed then than I am now, which is crazy.
mm,
Um, so, and there's, you know, obviously you need to love yourself, and but there's like a fine line to that, and there's a point where you know enough's enough. Like you don't want to, like, if you love yourself more than the Lord, then that's terrible, but um but I think for me it's like it just really checked my pride,
Mm,
because he blessed me with these gifts to be able to do this, but he's also blessed me with like a mind and a heart to be able to make that not turn into
mm,
um, a curse instead of a gift. And my mind and heart keeps that gift in check,
mm,
because that can easily be taken. It can take a turn for the worse, if I don't use it for the right
mm.
purposes. If it's just for money or for fame or or just for to have people look at me or notice me, um, that then that's just, and if I'm not actually doing anything other than just bringing people to my feet, then that's like, that's not the point.
Mm,
So he's really just kind of used that to be able to glorify him more and just show that, like, even though he's given me that, like I'm not worthy of it.
mm,
It's just something where he's blessed me, and I can use that to further his kingdom. So
mm.
it's basically just, like I said, a pride thing that he totally has just kept me in check with. So
Gotcha. That's awesome, man. And
yeah.
that's a huge testament because as a fellow believer, it's amazing to see those that create, even if they are a believer and they create secular music or they create and involve themselves around with that. I mean, that it's all about just humility, the gifts that
Mhm.
we've been given, and that creative idea and that creative mindset,
Right.
which is awesome. Which is awesome.
Yeah,
All right, so
absolutely.
we got two things left. So our first thing is we're gonna do one last question, and then we're gonna
Hmm.
go in kind of like a speed round here that we kind of do to just have a fun way to end out the night.
Yeah.
It's kind of just like an easy like this or that, and then you answer as quickly as you can.
Right.
Josh K just called me.
Oh, did he really?
I was just like, what just happened? Okay,
That's funny.
so is there anything left that you would like to say, you would like to talk about, or ask Silo as itself
Mhm.
before we do our this or that and kind of give you the last couple minutes to kind of just plug everything possible for IRG Music?
Hmm. Oh, one thing I forgot to say about my process too, which is actually, it's probably one of the biggest things I do, but um, I take advantage of the Spotify top 50 viral, those
Mm,
playlists like that. And I guess not really, I don't know if they're playlists or just kind of charts, but and see what's really popping, what's at the number one spot, what's on the number two spot. Not for the numbers, but just to see why they're there. And if you
mm,
listen to those and like um, it doesn't, you don't have to listen to the pop ones. You can listen to whatever, you want, because they have charts for every type of genre. But just whatever genre you're in, look at those charts, figure out why they got there and why they're so popular,
mm,
and not try to copy or recreate, but just try to apply your sound to their method of creating.
mm,
To apply your sound to that, because that's going to really just immediately upgrade
mm,
your lyrics, your instrumentation, the way that you create songs. It's just going to change everything. It's going to upgrade it,
mm,
just by truly listening, and not just like listening, oh, like I'm on the radio, like going down the road. You know what I mean? Because you're not really focused. But if you're like sitting
mm,
by the computer and you're focused and just staring at this playlist, staring at that song, and just hearing it, um, you it's gonna just elevate your sound. Um, so that's a lot of, I just pay attention to who's actually on
mm,
top right now. Is that would be like that
mm.
advice I'd give for that. Um, but yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And then regarding Silo, I know Austin. It's so funny, that connection with Austin, where he's like dating Timmy's sister. Because Timmy's a
Yeah.
homie of mine. So it's just so funny. It's just so funny. Does he do any of the interviews or?
Yeah, yeah. So we kind of try to we kind of set it up as so we kind of do it as like almost every other, is at least what our system ends up being. But a
Right.
lot of times it relies on to maybe because I'm more of like the music field, he's more of the photography field.
Yeah.
So we kind of try to deviate those individuals to kind of those areas. But then
Yeah.
also like if I have a connection with somebody, he has a connection with somebody, then we kind of do that as well. So that way there's
Mm,
like some sort of personal
gotcha.
connection already, and then we
Hmm.
can just kind of go right into it. Um,
Yeah.
and so we kind of, I think it's been off and on. And for a while, we were doing almost every other week, just him and I.
Yeah.
But we've been blown away with the amount of people that have been like, heck yeah, I want to hop
Yeah.
on this interview,
That's awesome.
which has been so cool and such a big testimony she got. And it's crazy. But yeah, and that it's such a small world that
Yeah.
you and Austin, like that, it's blows my mind.
Yeah. I mean, I never met him before, but I know the two people he knows.
Yeah.
And it's just so funny because we're all close. So, but yeah, and then you guys both went to LBC.
Yeah. Well, he actually is. I forget. I'm blanking on the name of his college, and he will rail me for that later. But he is actually pursuing a psychology degree at a different
Gotcha.
college, and so I'm
Okay.
at LBC, and so that's how I met Josh, and that's
Got
how
it.
I love
Okay.
that connection. Yeah, yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Josh, man, he's such a cool dude, man. The way that he just so without any fear will just go up to anyone and talk to him. It's
Oh,
just that's such a gift. It's crazy.
that's literally how we met. Like I was just chilling, like just like listening to music and doing work, and he comes to me, he's like, "Bro, I want to know you." And I was like, "Okay." Yeah.
That is so funny, dude. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Oh
It's
man.
crazy. It's a
Yeah.
small world that we
We
live in.
it's funny. You probably won't believe this, but we met because I took him out the subway.
No way.
After class, I went up to him and I was like, dude, you want to go get some Subway? And I had a gift card, so I was just like, I just don't want to eat lunch alone. Like, you want to come with
Yeah,
me? And then I brought him, and then he didn't have a car, so I drove him,
yeah.
and that was just how our friendship started, man. It was cool, man. It was real cool.
That's
Yeah,
awesome, man. That is so cool.
yeah,
It's crazy. It's crazy how things can be connected, and like we may not know each other personally, but like that connection's already there, which is super cool.
right, right. Well, I
Um,
hope that we get to know each other better.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
Me
hope that
too,
we can
man.
be friends.
Feelings
Yeah,
mutual.
absolutely.
Awesome. All right. So this or that. The
Okay.
last kind of seconds here. Again, I just asked if anybody has any questions. Feel free to ask. We're wrapping up in our last couple minutes.
Hmm.
Okay. So this one's probably easy. So I'm going to start off relatively with it soon. Is
Gotcha.
cold or warm?
Cold.
Okay. See, we already got it. See that? So that's basically
Gotcha.
what it's going to be like.
Gotcha.
Okay. So guitar or piano?
Oh, I thought you said Qatar, like as in like the United Arab Emirates. Piano.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Dancing in the rain or having an umbrella?
Oh man, Dancing in the Rain.
Mm, mm.
Yeah.
Oh God, we'd like to see it. We'd like to see it. All right, so this one has been a highly debated question. We don't know why,
Hmm.
but somehow it always has some sort of debate in the chat. Crew neck
Gotcha.
sweatshirt or a hoodie sweatshirt?
Crew neck.
Yeah, let's see.
Abs-
That's where it's at. That's where it's
it's
at.
crew neck.
Austin,
Absolutely. Yep.
you hear it here first. Austin, our boy Isaac loves crew neck.
Crew neck. So I love it. And the only thing is sometimes it's hard because I have like freakishly long arms. So it's like I have like a crew neck that fits me that's like a large, and then it's like it like rides up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And like you
It's
get
like
like
this
that
much.
weird like sometimes they are like super close to the neck and then
Oh
others can
yeah.
be like baggy. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
totally
Yeah.
relates to
Absolutely.
that. Okay. Light or dark?
Dark.
Okay, okay. Um Sitting out in the stars or sitting inside like after a nice like day outside in the winter?
Oh, sitting inside for
Mm,
sure.
mm,
I'm an
mm.
inside boy. I like the
Hey,
inside.
dude, it's quite nice.
Dude, I could sit inside from the moment I wake up, like on a Saturday, to the moment I go to sleep, just on the couch binge watching a TV show.
Ooh, what's the
Prefer it?
show?
Oh, Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Yes, bro. Let's go.
Yeah, I can watch that. Oh, dude, this one's gonna kill you though. Avatar: Last Airbender would be my anime, which is I'm gonna get heat for that because no one thinks that that's an anime. It's like a
But it
American
is.
anime. But
It
it is,
is.
it is, it is. Um, or Little House on the Prairie.
No way.
Yeah, dude. Dude, Little House on the Prairie is so wholesome. I love it.
I mean, I can't argue with that. Like, I
Dude, it
remember
just
it, it's so good.
dude, Michael Landon
Mm,
killed it with Charles Ingalls, Laura Ingalls Wilder. Oh man.
dude.
Dude, because like sometimes it's like I wish I was either born in the 50s
Mm.
or the 80s or like back 1800s. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Like I either like I don't want to be like anywhere else or now, you know what I mean, which is
yeah.
fine. But it's and there's obviously different reasons for either of them, but like back then it was everything life was so much simpler. You know what I mean?
Amen, man.
And people like cared about their neighbors and people like they would go to church on Sunday and they would just like that would be like it would be like the that's the Lord's day, it's the day of rest. You know
Mm.
what I mean? Like it's just there's so many values in there, man, that I love. I just
No.
love it. I just
Dude,
love it, man.
I'm so glad you said that because like my guilty, I guess, obsession is like like those old Western type shows that you see
Oh
like
yeah.
certain shows that
Like
like
Bonanza.
yes, bro, like that is the show.
Bonanza, Michael Landon was in that too.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
what
that's
was
why
his
when you said
name?
Michael Landon, I was like, dude, I already
Yeah,
know.
what was his name? He was like Little Jimmy or something,
Yes, yep, you're right.
something like
Yeah, yeah,
that. I forget. Oh man, that's crazy.
yeah, dude, those shows like Bonanza, Gunsmoke, like it's
Oh
just,
man, you
it's
like
just
any
so
John
good.
Wayne?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, dude, that's crazy. Or what? This is. Do you know that Ronald Reagan was in a? Well, he was an actor before he was president, and he did a lot of
No way,
westerns.
dude.
Yeah,
I had no idea. That's so dope.
That's how he got in. He was so famous before that. That's how
Wow,
he got into office.
that's incredible. Yeah, like
Yeah,
those shows. Like as a kid, I just remember growing up and watching them with my grandfather, and then to this day, like I
yeah.
still watch them because
That's
it's just,
why. Yeah, that's why Little House is my favorite because I with my mom. I grew up watching it with her. Like
dude,
I'd
that's
come.
so
Yeah,
sick.
yeah. So.
That's awesome.
I know it's such a weird thing. I come home, or no, my wife comes home, and I'll just be like sitting there and like watching Little House, and she's like, "Really? Like Little House? Like what are you doing?" Like she does, she's so happy that I watched that compared to like I don't know something like there's so much trash on the television right
Yeah,
now,
dude,
but like
absolutely.
but like she's like, I mean, I'm happy you're watching it because it's like you're learning great values and like I'm sure that it impacts how you see yourself as a husband and a man, but like it's just so weird. Like you're 23 years old and you love a Little House on the Prairie.
Bro,
I
like, come on,
don't
like, it's so true. Because
I know.
there's been times where I'll just be sitting and watching, like, people would just be like, what are you watching? And it's just like, it's so good. Like, come
I
on.
know. I know. I know that feeling.
Yeah,
It's so
it's
funny.
just like, wait, you don't know what this is?
I know, it's crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
All right, so before we get like too down the road of just reminiscing, I just
yeah,
wanted to say thank you so much for joining us on this live.
yeah,
Um,
man, of course.
super blessed, and I hope to continue our relationship just on a personal level,
Yeah, man, of
but
course.
in the future, man. And it's been incredible. So thank you very much.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me, dude. It's been
Yeah,
I live for this, man. I just like
yeah,
that's why I'll always reaching out to people like, hey, like I wouldn't mind being on your show because I just like sitting down with people for 45 minutes to an hour just talking. You know what I mean?
yeah,
We didn't talk about any song or track or anything I'm releasing, and that's totally fine because I didn't need to or want to. I just
yeah,
wanted to talk to you, man. So I appreciate that, man. I
yeah.
appreciate you got on the call with me.
Absolutely, absolutely,
Yeah,
and the
man.
feeling's mutual, man. Um,
Perfect.
but I do will give you 5 minutes, how many time you need to kind of just shoot out all your plugs, anything that's coming
Yep.
in the future, just because I want to support you as much as I
Oh,
can.
I appreciate that, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I appreciate it. Well, I mean, June 25th is my next release.
Oh shoot!
It's gonna be a song with my buddy Valid Point. I think he was on the live for a little bit. But yeah, June 25th it's coming out. It's called Stick With Me.
Mm,
Um, yeah, it's probably like I know everyone says it's like, oh, it's the best song to date or whatever, but this really like the quality, the lyrics, everything, the catchiness, everything is it's much better than anything that I have out right now.
Mm.
So stick with me. It's gonna be pretty crazy. And I really hope it does well. So there's that. And then there might be talks of an album in
Oh, shoot.
In October. So they could be pushed back a little bit, but that's the goal. So yeah, so that's kind of where we're at right now, and a couple features coming out, but um, definitely just little things that I'll keep you guys updated with. But
Mm.
that's it right now, and but yeah, that's it for music.
Cool,
So
man.
yeah,
And where can we follow you? So if anybody afterwards is
yep.
like, bro, I want to see all of this amazing stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm IRG music everywhere, just IRG and then music.
Gotcha,
Just
gotcha.
anywhere that's like Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I don't know if there's anything else that I'm missing. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You can, and just anybody to feel free to just hit me up. I'd like to think I'm a pretty nice, friendly guy. So
Absolutely, man.
yeah, people can hit me up and I'll, feel free to have a conversation. So yeah.
Cool beans.
Yeah,
Awesome,
man.
man. Well, I'm again super thankful. Everybody that's watching and watching back, and I encourage you to follow our boy here with that, and we will see you and catch you later in the next live. Thank you so
I
much, man.
appreciate it, man. All
Yeah,
right, thank
absolutely.
you. See ya, man.
Yeah, have a
Have a
good
good
one.
night. See ya.